Junkanoo. Good morning to everybody in our family of islands. We want you guys to stay safe. Take the precautions. The weather is traveling in on us. We are in hurricane season. Good
Mm.
morning, Arlene. Good morning. How are you this morning?
Good morning. How's it going?
Oh man, it's a lot of hoodie outside. Ain't little hoodie.
Really?
It's a lot of hoodie.
It's it is really hoodie this morning. We got weather moving in. Oh my goodness.
Oh
And and
yeah.
and and the hurricane season, I mean, just hot out the gate, man. It was just June the other day.
Here we are, folks. Here we are. Well, let's get it
Yeah.
started on in. We got another Power Pack show coming up with for these people. Let's get it
Yes,
going. Can you get us started with our prayer, please?
of course. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, for the gift of life, we give you thanks. For our nation, we pray for peace, prosperity, progress, and principle, recovery, and restoration. And for ourselves, we pray for wisdom to use your gifts wisely, especially the gift of Junkanoo, so that we may honor you, serve your people, build better communities, a better Bahamas, and a better world. Amen.
Amen. Proud to
Amen.
be Bahamian. What
Give
we
it to
got?
me straight.
Man,
I know what
Ali.
I got.
Man, you know what it was, man. Listen, all I know is
Oh my. Oh
yesterday,
my.
it was a magical day. I posted yesterday. Listen, yesterday was a great expression of the Junkanoo spirit that was exhibited on Bay Street
Mm,
in the form of the
mm,
2022 Serrano Folks Labor Day Parade. Folks,
mm.
if you were not there, you missed an exciting, ecstatic experience. Not an event, experience. As
Truly.
man, that for me, just seeing everybody in the road, everybody who was participating and not participating, and even when we got there, I got there early, trying to find parking and walking from Frederick Street to East and Shirley Street to East and Bay Street. The people had their chairs out anticipating the parade, and
Mhm.
for me, that was a sign. That was like this. Why I'm one of the reasons I'm proud to be Bahamian.
Oh, very much so. And I echo those sentiments. It truly was a proud moment. And I really we'll talk about this later. But I want to thank the Saxons and one family for not breaking this tradition and for being there in all their glory, and all those people who were waiting for Junkanoo. They really did us proud. And I had a moment, as I usually do have a moment, down on Bay Street, on right in front of the Pompey Museum, facing George Street. And I'm saying to myself, every year we return to this place where our ancestors were sold as animals,
Mm.
and we return in triumph every year, and we have turned tragedy into triumph, and it is the ceremonial taking over of Bay Street is so much deeper than just being there. And so, every time I get on George Street corner, I remember the price that was paid for us to be there. And I look at thousands of Bahamians in the street dancing and celebrating and saying, you thought you had to say, you thought you had to say, no, Derry, we will survive. And so it was very special for me. And like I say, I am so proud of one family and the Saxons. They did not let that tradition die.
Yes, yes, yes. For anybody that missed the parade, you could check out on our YouTube channel, the Junkanoo 242 YouTube channel. We have the whole parade from start to end there. You could check it out as well as our other episodes and the Easter Rush. All of them up there on our Junkanoo 242 YouTube channel. You could check it out.
Yes,
It was a great experience, Alan.
it was.
I can't wait for the Independence Rush out. I can't wait that expression and that excitement it's just building in the Junkanoo community, and we can see the pride that was shown even in the country by the people that was watching.
Amen. Absolutely. And of course, it was all in tribute to the workers because we are all workers and we built the Bahamas. And it was really a special moment to be out there to support the workers of the country. And of course, we are some of the hardest workers in the country. And so as Junkanoos. And so it was just a special day. And I thank God that we were all alive to see it.
Yes. So, folks, what we're going to do is we're going to run to our first break. And when we get back, we'll introduce you to our special guest and get the show started. We'll be right back. You tune into Junkanoo 242.
As a result of the recent uptick in violence, domestic violence, school campus violence, and murders in our country, New Providence in particular, ZNS Radio will lead in providing relevant programs and content in collaboration with religious, civic, and governmental groups and organizations that will offer opportunities to view, impact, and possibly reduce the current spate of violence that we are now experiencing.
Our focus will be on finding viable solutions as we are committed to helping our nation
to become a part of the solution.
All that is required for evil to triumph is for good men to see it and do nothing.
There's far too many of you die.
AM 104.5 FM. It's time to head back to the E-Shock. And of course, without any further delay, we ask them to take it away. Take it away, guys.
From the Junkanoo archives on the Junkanoo timeline, the year was 2001. A new millennium, new beginnings, new directions for Junkanoo. And leading the charge, the Music Makers. In a historic move, the Music Makers announced a new social outreach program in partnership with the Mount Pleasant Green Baptist Church. Another significant moment on the Junkanoo timeline.
That was truly special. I remember that well. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. The whistle blow. We are lined up and we are ready for this segment of our show. This is the rollover. And this morning we have another very special show for you. We are delighted to have as our special guest Mr. Philip Barton, who is a member of the Shell Saxon Superstars, and he is also, brace yourself, a junkanologist. And he has a wealth of knowledge about Junkanoo, and we picking his brain this morning. Good morning, Mr. Barton.
Good morning. Good morning, Bahamas, and good morning, Junkanoo world.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Now, you know we in the E-Shack now. What did you tell me your Junkanoo name is? What is your nickname?
Panther. Panther.
Panther.
Yes, Panther.
All right, boy, that sounds like you fast.
I got that name from Buckaroo.
Oh.
Yeah, he gave me that.
Okay, so you be in the shack now, so we calling you Panther.
Yeah.
Excellent. It's a pleasure to have you. We are delighted. And we are looking forward to all of the knowledge that you have, to you sharing it with us this morning about Junkanoo. And so just to get started, the way we always do, and Darren and I will be jumping in and asking questions and having comments, and we'll have a wonderful time. Tell us about you and your Junkanoo background.
Well, I rushed with the Saxon, started out in about 69 when we carry African, about 69 when we carry African jungle. But the thing is, if you notice, I play a lot of different instruments in Junkanoo. And that's the same way I was with rushing. I rush with Chippy. If the Saxon wasn't going, I rush with Chippy. And if Chippy wasn't there, and I was with a group called Sarge and the Boys. But you know, the Saxon never used to come every morning. So
Oh
I used
no,
to
I
sit,
didn't know.
yeah, they didn't come every morning. And so what happened was in 76, when the American had their 200th anniversary, they asked the Bahamians, the Junkanoo to bring something with American or whatever. Well, we got outsmarted because we just bring Uncle Sam and Spiny Lobster.
Uh-huh.
And then Chippy bring uh, Uncle Sam along with fruits and vegetables. And so I had the fun of rushing in two groups both mornings. So when I make one lap at the socks and I rush down with Chippy and I rush with Chippy. And that's, that it was fun for me. And like I said, I that's what I did. And so
In the same costume?
in the same costume, but I had on an Uncle Sam. So the
Uh-huh.
socks on Uncle Sam and Chippy had Uncle Sam, you know. And we used to go far through Frederick Street, make a little small, it was a little small street, Frederick Street and Parliament. And so once you stop, I run across to the next group, and that's how I did things. But one of the things I really was concerned about in Junkanoo when it come down to the history and Junkanoo in '79, they went to the archives, and I started to write down some things, and I realized that you had over the years where groups like the Punch Bowl when they was getting like 80 pounds, okay, and then growing up in the heart of the music makers.
Hold on, Mr. Barton, because you're getting into some deep stuff. I'm hearing a beeping like a car doors open or something like that. Can you close that because we're getting into deep information. I don't want no interruption. I don't want the people to say you get the facts wrong.
No.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
having audio issues, so excuse me for a minute. And DF, you continue. I want to try something.
Okay, you were saying something about in '79 about the punch bowl.
Yeah, like I said, I went to the archives and I
Yes.
started to follow up on all the wins. And then I realized that when the Punch Bowl and East Bay Service win, they was paid 80 pounds back in the day. All right. And so I went back and I write down all the Junkanoo wins. And then I realized, hey, the music makers had a win in 73. And then
Mm.
I say, that can't be possible because the music makers was formed in 1976.
Ah.
Okay. The music makers was formed in 1976. Okay. So that's when I start to think and I say something ain't right here because I grew up in the heart of the music makers and Pepsi Cola at the time won in 73, which became, I think, was 700 Islands or something like that. And Vincent Roll was the first, Vincent, who was in charge of Pepsi Cola, got a hold of the Boys Brigade and Royal Ambassador and got bring Horn into music, into Junkanoo. That's when Horn first started in
Mm-hmm.
73 when he bring it in. All right. And so after they break up, Horn was obsolete. Nobody bothered with Horn until around about in 90, it ran until 79, 80 when Stims from the Valley Boys decided along with the part of the police band bring back Horn into Junkanoo. And so after that, Horn really took off. What I try to tell people is after having a Horn, it looked like we lose our dance and we lose our rush.
Hmm.
Because when we didn't have Horn, we were more viable, jumping up and dancing and rushing. But it seems now like we lose our dance because everything is just heel and toe, you know? And
Two
it
step.
disturbed
Two
it
step.
disturbed it disturbed me now that when you rushing down Bay Street, instead of people rushing, everybody running to the sideline to hail their friends.
Hmm.
And one time ago, man, we ain't get time for nobody on the side. You rushing, you know what I mean? But the costume is the thing which you want people to see, not you, the costume. And so we need to get back on track. And the next thing is, as far as where we losing it, as our main thing is friendship. We losing friendship in Junkanoo. And that must come back. That should be the most important thing in Junkanoo. Friendship.
The fringing. You talking
Yes,
specifically the fringing of the paper.
yeah,
So,
the paper. No place in the world does that, and we cannot throw that away because if to me it almost like I am saying we becoming Junkanoo Carnival. If we ain't using paper, we Junkanoo Carnival, and we need to be unique by staying and doing the hard work by friendship, and uh, it should be mandatory that we make people friends.
so,
You know,
Mr. Barton, hold on now. You have said so many powerful things. We got to break down every single one of them. I know we're running to a break in 2 minutes, but I want to just a minute hold that fringing thing because that's a big one. We were having a big discussion about that before we went on the air. Hold that one. I want to talk about when you talked about people so busy hailing their friends. Well, let's start with the brass. What you are saying is that when the brass came in, you are saying that what did it do? Did it slow down the music? Did it change the way we dance? What was the point? I'm sorry, I missed that.
yeah, I'm saying when we didn't have brass,
Right.
we were more forceful in dancing. If we lose that Junkanoo dance,
Okay.
we lose the Junkanoo dance. It's like everybody now is two step. That Junkanoo dance.
Yes.
But if you go back and you watch a tape with the Saxon when we carry Feed the Nation,
Right.
and you watch the way Junkanoo dance to compare now,
Right.
it,
Right.
it, it, it we just lose it. We just
Yes.
we losing so much of our culture. And it's the next part I wanted to talk about when you would we talk about losing Gombe.
Yes. Hold
Most
on,
people
hold on, hold
don't
on.
know.
That's another hot one.
Most,
Hold on. I ain't finished with this one yet. You are exactly right because that was last year, DF. Whenever we did the people's we did the what did we do? The Parade of Champions. And ZNS, they are excellent at what they do. They went into their bag of tricks into their archives and they found these tapes of one I could remember specifically was of the Saxons, just like you say, in the 80s, and the dancing was incredible. The energy and the movement on the front line, you don't see that these days. And it struck me that I don't know why we lost all that movement, but man, that front line was crazy.
yes, yes, and
You know what I think it is? I think, I'm sorry to say it, there is a difference between rushing and performing.
that's right.
And sadly, on Bay Street, we seem to be performing more than we rushing. We rushing on
Right.
Shirley Street. You know what I mean? And that's a sad thing. That's a sad
Natalia,
thing.
I am so glad you touch on that because this is what I try to explain to people the difference between Junkanoo and Gombe.
Right.
Gombe, you perform. Gombe is where you perform your drill, your jumping dance,
Mm-hmm.
your heel and toe poker. And
Mm-hmm.
these are sort of things we are losing as far as our culture. When
Yes.
summer come, some of us about Gombe, and a lot
Yes.
of people don't know the difference between Gombe and Junkanoo. Completely
Yes.
different. All right, it's a completely different thing. And when it come down to performance, that's why I look at it when you go to our musician to for them to perform for you, you're getting the same thing basically over and over. One time ago, if you only realize musicians was the one who really used to represent the Bahamas,
Yes.
In 1979, right now, me and Willa is the only two Saxon who perform halftime in the Super Bowl. Most people don't know that.
Hold on now.
Wow.
Hold on now. We take it. Hold on now, brother. Hold on. You ain't just gonna say that. We go into
Oh,
a
you
break.
need a break
Yeah,
now?
we
Right.
picking up that point
Going,
where we come right back.
We coming
1979.
back with
We
that.
coming back, folks. You tune in to
yeah.
Junkanoo 242. We bring out a Junkanologist for y'all. We'll see you on the next side of this break.
Thinking about building your dream home in Kent Island? Choose DWR Construction in Oldbody for the best in construction. Whatever you want, they can build it, except for a relationship.
Now, if you're looking for a place to chill, check out Destiny's Restaurant and Bar in Old Bite. They offer wholesale and retail, and what they don't have, they will certainly get for you. So don't hesitate to call 242-429-7951. That's 242-429-7951. Two services at one great location.
As a result of the recent uptick in violence, domestic violence, school campus violence, and murders in our country, New Providence in particular, ZNS Radio will lead in providing relevant programs and content in collaboration with religious, civic, and governmental groups and organizations that will offer opportunities to view, impact, and possibly reduce the current spate of violence that we are now experiencing.
Our focus will be on finding viable solutions as we are committed to helping our nation
to become a part of the solution.
All that is required for evil to triumph is for good men to see it and do nothing.
There's far too many of you die.
Well, what you scared of?
Grammy, if I tip off the police and somebody find out...
Ain't nobody gonna find out. Crime Stoppers ain't the police. They just does works with the police.
Same difference.
No, boy. With Crime Stoppers, you're safe. When you call their number, it miss the Bahamas altogether and go directly to Miami or Toronto, Canada. Ain't nobody gonna know your voice or that you name Bertram or that you live down the alley.
Grammy, you realize you IDing me right now?
Boy, I raise no criminal. If you see what gone down, call Crime Stoppers. They get no personal info. They just give you a PIN number.
So how you know so much about them?
How you think your uncle get a Fox Hill?
You serious?
If he won't be canned, I able to turn him in.
So uncle know you was a snitch?
Crime Stoppers ain't never gonna tell nobody. And for top info, they just give you cash.
You get paid and all?
You eating good, right? The light's still on, eh?
Grammy!
Wait your man up. Stop the crime before it's your time. Huh?
Call 328-TIPS or from the Family Islands 242-300-TIPS.
This public service announcement was brought to you by Crime Stoppers in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
1540 AM, 104.5 FM, the national voice of the Bahamas. We're 20 minutes away from the 11 o'clock hour. And of course, we're taking you back to the E-Shack with the teacher and the head boy doing all that they can to keep us informed about what's going on in Junkanoo. Keep it locked.
Filed under L for Labor Day. The first Friday in June of each year is an important date on the national calendar, but also an important date on the Junkanoo calendar. For decades now, the Junkanoo community has joined with the laborers of the nation to celebrate the one day a year set aside exclusively for them, the first Friday in June. It is the first time since New Year's Day that Junkanoo groups are on the parade in the streets, and we look forward to it. Not only are we delighted to be with our own groups and hear that music, but also look forward to greeting friends from each group in the united celebration of labor. Congratulations to the Saxons and One Family for not letting this tradition die in 2022. Our Junkanoo, we love it.
We absolutely do. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Junkanoo 242, the whistle blow. And we are lined up, and now it's time for our first lap. Oh boy, and we don't plan to get wet this morning. Don't try that. There is nothing more depressing than a wet Junkanoo costume, Lord. Ooh, it's rough. But this morning we have such a special show, and we are delighted to have as our very special guest, Mr. Philip Barton in the Junkanoo world. He is Panther of the Shell Saxon Superstars, and he has a wealth of knowledge. You have already heard quite a lot of it, and we are going to open the phone lines after the next break. We'll give him an opportunity to share just a little more with us, and so we move on. And so, Mr. Barton, you were saying just before the break.
Yes, that me and Willer is the only two Saxons who rushed halftime in the Super Bowl in '79 with the Dallas Cowboys and Pittsburgh Steelers. Now the next, you had Maureen DeValier because we went with Chippy, and you had Knock to verify all these things, and the police band was there. It was the police band in Junkanoo.
Yes.
The theme for that year for the Super Bowl was "Come to My Island," and you had all the Caribbean islands were there. Okay, and so what happened back in the day? Junkanoo leaders never really used to travel like that because they were
Yes.
musicians. Most of the time you'll find like musician people traveling because and then they would get in Junkanoo together. So that's how we got on the trip to Chippy.
So, Mr. Barton, before you go any further, even though we are talking Junkanoo on the Bahamas, this is a very important detail we do not want to leave out. Please let everybody know who won that
The Steelers won that. The Steelers won that.
Man, don't miss out that important detail. Wonderful. So what you were saying then is Chippy was the person who organized the contingent, and you and Willa were the only two from the Saxon?
Saxon, right, yes.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It was a good experience, eh?
Oh, it was a lovely experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
You represented us well.
Yeah, and what I'm saying too, that I rushed Gombe. I rushed Gombe from 71 to until it finished.
Wow.
Even in charge of a Gombe group the last year.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you Gombe used just for the youngsters who mightn't know. The Gombe Summer Festival was held in the summer, and this is before Junkanoo in June and the Junkanoo Summer Festival. It was the Gombe Festival in New Providence during the summer on Bay Street.
Yeah.
On Bay Street.
Yeah, we had three stages. One was Chippy and Vincent. And then the first year was with Chippy and Vincent. Then the second year became Chippy, Vincent, and Sarge. Then 2 years later, it was Crocker. It was Crocker second, third, and then Sarge. And then we brought in a gentleman by the name of Clinton Clark. Who had the fourth group. So he had 4 Gombe groups. On the last year, they decided to ditch one. And so it leave 3 because you only had 3 stages.
So there was entertainment up and down Bay Street, people in the street. It became almost like a mall.
Yeah. You had the gentleman who was in charge of the Gombe, I think Mr. Oh Lord, I forget his name. He used to be at tourism.
Basil Albury?
No. The little short fellow.
Oh, okay. We'll remember. Somebody will remember.
Okay.
I want to ask one more question about Gombe because this old people talk now. So Panther, do you remember when they first started that Gombe Summer Festival that the Junkanoo used to rush up Bay Street and rush down and then turn go over Blue Hill Road and rush straight to
Gombe Village?
You remember that?
Yeah, we used to rush straight to the village.
That's right.
Oh, Adam Abo was the gentleman.
Adam Abo, yes. Okay,
that's
excellent.
the man who they really need to get back into Gombe so people can understand what Gombe is all about. Adam Abo.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, he and I went through St. John's together in the same class. Good morning, Box. I hope he's listening. Excellent. Yeah. Gombe was a big thing.
Mr. Barton, when you talk about Gombe, how important was the Gombe experience and that event and culture for culture in the Bahamas?
It was an experience that you felt proud about because when you perform it, you was just performing to the Bahamians, you was performing to tourists, and you had to be the best. Junkanoo, in Gombe, a lot of people don't understand. You don't join Gombe. You had to be picked. That's what's the difference. You had to be picked. Not when you hear somebody, man, I joined Gombe. No, sir. You had to be picked. And the best of the best. You had to have the best from us because they had to know how to beat certain beats, like drill. They had to know how to be jumping dance, and that's where the drummers back in the day were more different and more better to me because they had so many different rhythms. You see, they had to learn a lot of different rhythms to in order to be in Gumbe. Even
Yeah.
like the girls, they had to. You don't join Gumbe, you had to be fit. You had to be the best.
And it Gumbe was a big thing. They had a drink competition and a drink called the Gumbe Smash One. You remember that? And
Yes,
and it started off on Wednesday nights.
and the Gumbe soda was big in Rana.
That's right. And then we had a Gumbe soda. And really, when you hear Bahamian musicians talk, they tell you that the word Gumbe is the umbrella name for Bahamian music,
And it featured the drums. The
Yes,
feature in Gumbe is the drums.
which is what that word means, the
Right.
djembe. Yes,
All
yes,
right,
yes.
time the course fight now, Mr. Panther. Time the course fight because you brought up fringed paper. You brought
Oh
up
Lord,
how
it's a big
unique it
fight
is.
now.
And my question to you is this. My question to you is this. Is pasting if the paper is not fringed?
You
Well,
gotta explain what you mean
yeah,
by
I
fringe.
understand. I understand what you mean uh, because long as it's crepe paper and how you do it, I fine with it.
Okay,
But what
but
happened is we are not pasting anymore. We're using so much different products.
okay. Okay, see,
You know.
because here's my one of the issues that a lot of people are trying to use. Like you talk about some of the things that we're losing in Junkanoo, right? When we talk about paper, people feel as though if they cut paper or if they cut out a shape and they use some type of adhesive and put it on a costume, that is considered pasting. However, in my knowledge of Junkanoo and what I've been introduced to, pasting is you're using fringed edged paper. It's fringed
Yes.
on the edge and you're laying it strip for strip and laying it down. Everything else that was not fringed was explained to me as crafting.
Yes, it is.
Uh, all right,
I had
so
yeah,
that's why I asked.
yeah. I had a nephew who rushed with this accent. His name is Franklin Jolly. If
Okay,
you remember, Birds of a Feather, he carried a peacock, 100 eye,
okay,
and that was one of the most prettiest thing out there. But he lost best costume because the Wally boys pointed out where he carved the, the feathers, and that was beautiful. And that's
okay.
where, yeah.
And no, and see this that
Long
that
as it's
ex-
crepe,
go
long as it's
ahead.
crepe paper, I have no problem with it. How you use it, because don't forget now we used to cut the paper long, and the
Yeah.
music makers refine it
Uh-huh.
because they put out some of the best pieces, and you couldn't tell if they was paste or not. So as
Yeah.
long as the paper is there, I don't have a problem with it.
No, no, but see, here's the thing now. See, we have to be careful. See, because a lot of people now are saying, yeah, long as we using paper. But the question I like you also raised too is like there's a distinction and
Yes,
uniqueness that we do when we
yes,
fringe the paper
yes,
because
I agree.
there may not be other festivals or
No place in
experiences
the world.
that use fringe paper. You understand?
Yes.
But when we stop fringing, you
Yes.
understand what is going to separate us in our strip for strip pasting.
Oh. Well,
You
I
see what I'm
agree
saying?
with the friendship. I agree with the friendship. We have to find a way to keep friendship alive. I agree with the friendship.
Okay, all right. So,
Yeah.
Mike, when you okay, one of when we've talked about Junkanoo dance, we've talked about pasting, we've talked about gombe. My question I would put before you right now, right? As Junkanoo is today, right? What are some of the other elements you would like to see brought to the highlight because of its uniqueness to us?
Ah, well, to be truthful, I would like to see us we running away from lead costumes.
Oh,
Like we running away from that. And I feel I that's a big part of the Junkanoo. We
Hmm.
need to keep, but I find out over the years is that we getting lazy. We don't we running away from things what we need to stay to. And I think the lead costume is really the centerpiece of the Junkanoo work. And
Are
we running from that.
are
I
we
think
are we running away from it because people don't want to do the work, or because they have because of the sizes that they've mushroomed to right now?
like I said, a Junkanoo costume don't have to be big to be pretty. You don't have to, I think it's just the individual, but I think a lot of people just run away from the work. I think it's the work because everybody looking for the easy way out now. Uh, you know, and
Okay, well, since you brought up lead costume, well, you know where I gotta go now. My question to you is, how do you feel about costumes being on wheels?
being over,
Being on wheels, because we talk about being able, you talk about rushing, we talk about being unique, we talk about being able to carry costumes. Do you feel as though we're trending in the right way, or do you feel as though we need to get back to the point where, as if you can't lift it, if you can't tote it, it don't go?
some of the biggest costume you may be too young to know was Hindu gods and demons, and
Hmm.
they was wider than Bay Street. They was wider than Bay Street, and they was on wheels. And wheels was way back then, but then they banned it.
Hmm.
Long. I feel long as it don't hold up the parade, I feel it should be able to go. Because like I'm saying, when it really come down to lifting, the way we build costume now to compare back in the day, I think wheels should be able to stand. I don't have no problem.
But we've seen what is happening now with the introduction of it,
Yeah.
and like you say, if it don't hold up the parade, but now we see all the lead costumes right now. A lot of them are they're causing obstacles in the parading.
But like, I think what really happened is we building them too big. I
Ah.
I think we need to have a size
Hmm.
and and stay with that. And anytime you go over, then you should lose point. You got to have rules. You have to have rules. But like I said, to take away the lead costume, it takes so much out of junk, man. It take away so much.
All right.
Because one time ago, you're looking for that lead costume in the back. You're looking for that. You want to
Like,
see, so that you could really judge junk, But like I said, it's just it all boiled down to us being lazy. We be a group junkaners now. We get lazy. We looking for the quick way out, and it's all about just being beautiful. We ain't taking pride like that no more.
oh
We're
boy.
doing what we need to do.
All right, I think we got a caller on the line. Let's run to this caller. Good morning, this is Jungle 242 caller. Are you there?
Fine.
Morning. Go ahead for us.
I want to check something with Miss Eileen. She said in the Gombe summer they had a drink called the Gombe Smash, right? But the Gombe Smash is alcohol. It was a Gombe Punch.
Hmm.
The name of the drink is Gombe Punch instead of a Gombe Smash. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Yes, another one is going to correct.
All right, no problem. Thanks for calling. All right, folks, we're gonna run to another break. When we get back, we're gonna pick up with Panther as he takes us down the Junkanoo knowledge that he has. Folks, we're running to our next break. Junkanoo 242. We'll be right back.
Get up.
Flammy, if I tip off the police and somebody find out,
Ain't nobody gonna find out. Crime Stoppers ain't the police. They just does works with the police.
same difference.
No, boy, with Crime Stoppers, you're safe. When you call their number, it miss the Bahamas altogether and go directly to Miami or Toronto, Canada. Ain't nobody gonna know your voice or that you name Bertram or that you live down the alley.
Flammy, you realize you IDing me right now?
Boy, I raise no criminal. If you see what gone down, call Crime Stoppers. They get no personal info. They just give you a PIN number.
So how you know so much about them?
How you think your uncle get a Fox Hill?
You serious?
If he won't be canned, I able to turn him in.
So uncle know you was a snitch?
Crime Stoppers ain't never could tell nobody. And for top info, they just give you cash.
You get paid and all?
You eating good, right? The light's still on, eh?
Flammy.
Wait your man up. Stop the crime before it's your time. Huh?
Call 328-TIPS or from the Family Islands 242-300-TIPS.
This public service announcement was brought to you by Crime Stoppers in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Bluebird Restaurant and Bar, New by Cat Island, specializing in native dishes, fish, conch, mutton, chicken, ribs, and pork chops, served with peas and rice, coleslaw, potato salad, or vegetables. Dinner and breakfast by reservation. Ask for Grace Dorset or Mika Knowles. Phone 342-3095, 466-1708, or 464-667.
48 104.5 FM, the national voice of the Bahamas. Going to take you right back to the East Shack. Take it away, guys.
Examples of excellence. In assuming responsibility for the annual Junkanoo parades in New Providence, the Junkanoo Corporation New Providence Limited knew that when they disappeared to complete their group's preparation for the parades each year, it was critical that the team left in place to manage the parades on their behalf would have to have the confidence of all and the capability and competence to execute the task. From 2008 to 2015, the Junkanoo community was most fortunate to have the services of a distinguished Bahamian as the chairman of the parade's management team. Mr. Douglas Hanna brought his outstanding qualities to bear on the management of the Junkanoo parades, and we were grateful for it. Integrity, honesty, fair play, efficiency, discipline, and structure. The list goes on. Many of the problems of yesteryear disappeared without us even realizing it. And today, the Junkanoo community continues to build on the firm foundation laid during that time. Mr. Douglas Hanna, former chairman of the parade's management team of the Junkanoo Corporation New Providence Limited, this week's inductee into the Junkanoo 242 Shack of Excellence.
Oh, parade management. Who gonna manage the parade?
Oh, he was outstanding.
Y'all know once y'all get in the shack, y'all rowing anyway. Y'all just will get the bait. Who managing next? We can figure it out after the parade.
They don't need care who managing it when they have a problem out there.
Welcome back. You are listening to Junkanoo 242. It's the second lap, and guess what? In the shack, hot buddy. We got a hoodie sky. We putting out the canvas, and we bringing the Junkanoo knowledge inside today. Before we go any further, let's run to the caller. We got Mr. Fernando on the phone. Good morning.
I would like to highlight 2 points. First of all, the costume in the Gods and Demons. I don't know if you all realize that costume changed Junkanoo. Hello?
Tell us, Causey. We listening with bated breath. Tell us.
I'm having problems hearing. Can you hear him, Darren?
I can hear him. Go ahead, Causey.
Go right ahead then. Go right ahead, Uncle Cause.
How did that costume change Junkanoo?
It changed Junkanoo because nobody at that time never saw costumes that size. First time costumes at that time came to Bay Street.
Wow.
And that sort of changed Junkanoo.
That's true.
And back to the quincentennials, Rushville, most of the groups had to carry American costumes. Because we actually won that parade with American Indians.
Now we is who, the Valley Boys?
Yeah.
The Valley Boys won that parade with American Indians.
Okay.
You know what's really puzzling to me? The Saxons had Uncle Sam and Spiny Lobster. I try to figure out where the Spiny Lobster fit in. Hello?
Mr. Barton, you want to enlighten us on the connection between Uncle Sam and the Spiny Lobster?
I had no clue. Also, with Chippy and Uncle Sam and the fruits, I had no clue. I had no clue. And the Wally Boys was good. They were good for that American Indian. They was good.
Wow.
Good.
We was running
Now,
back to back, man.
another thing I like to touch on is the music, drumming.
Yeah, hold on 1 minute.
Every,
Uncle Cause, you made your points?
Um, I heard you mentioned about the music makers. I think when they went with $700, they beat the Wally Boys that Boxing Day right after Independence.
beat everybody.
Boxing Day 73.
There's so much
It was
to remember. I mean, like my good boy saying that I had a list of stuff myself and I just lost a lot of things. Like just stop writing down things, man.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta keep the history alive, man, and it's good to go back down memory lane again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you have a lot of information to share yourself. One of these days, we are going to twist your arm and get you to come on to share what you know. So start jotting those notes down again if you can't find them.
I actually have my earlier pictures of King George and the Dragon and way back then in the 60s.
Wow.
Well, Causey, we can
contain a whole lot of information.
Wow.
we can need to connect because we're working with Junkanoo 242. We're working on creating that type of archive in terms of starting with our YouTube channel and also our website where we can actually put all of this information in a central data place online where people can actually access it and learn and have access to all of these things that each of us has to this part of the puzzle we call Junkanoo. So we definitely will be in contact with you about that.
Okay, well, that's my contribution for the day. Thank you all.
All right.
Thank you. We appreciate the call. And I had to step away for a minute. So, DF, I don't know if you have gotten to some of the comments on.
No, you can pick up right there. You can bring up some of the comments.
Just before we start to talk about the fringe, which Penelope Norton said she agrees with keeping the fringe no matter how much Junkanoo is evolving. That should not be lost. Amen, sister. We agree with you. And Pam Burnside is hearkening back Panther to another time. And I know you remember when we had no feathers and we made feathers using fringe, using crepe paper. You remember that?
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. She is saying ban the feathers and bring back the fringe. She getting rid of the whole federation. The feathers call it getting rid of the whole federation. And she also notes that Gumbe Summer was an example of an orange economy event. There was also poetry, drama, singing, etc.
Yes.
And yes, so that's how the orange economy, all of the people who did those things were able to get returns from it. And she also talks about the fact that the fringing is directly related to our African ancestors who would use plant products to make a fringe effect, as well as cut up fabric later on when fabric was available to copy the fringed effect. So the fringing goes right back to the motherland, and the fringing started initially with plant materials. So we're talking about fringing the banana leaf from whatever we had in the African way. We always put it on in layers, and that is what we are fighting to keep. She said there used to be wheels for the individual costumes back in the day. Nowadays, they using them to be too carnival-y. Yep, that's our word, Pam. We sticking to it. We putting that in our dictionary. Too carnival-y, and I agree with you entirely. Let's roll. Thank you so much. Our vocabulary is expanding this morning. We have junkanology being discussed by a junkanologist. And one thing we don't want is for our costumes to get too carnival-y. Thank you so much. It's our language and we are proud of it. And so, yes, Mr. And so, Panther, I got to get used to calling you Panther. You have to forgive me with the Mr. Barton because he was one of our parents at St. John's, and that's how I knew him all along as Mr. Barton. So, Panther, now, your point, the fringe, I think all of us in the ESHAC this morning agree, as Penelope Nottage said, this is what makes us different
Yes.
from other festivals, and this is what we want to keep, right?
Yes.
Now, DF, did you go into the, because I had to step away, did you go into the whole discussion of what is fringing and what is pasting and what it is we want to keep and what you already talk all of that?
Yes, yes. We had deep talk into that. He was starting to talk about music. He started to talk about music, and that's another, that's a very
That's another hot one.
yes. So, Panther, you was talking to us about music. What about music?
Uh, Not so much about the music. I'm talking about the rhythm, the
Okay.
drumming. But when you look at every group now, every group beating the same thing, and I can't understand if you call yourself a drummer, why, if you're the lead drummer in a group, why can't you develop a beat for your group?
Mm.
Everybody getting down Beach Street beating the same thing. And back in the day, every group had their own beat. That's why the
Wow.
music makers were so different when they first come out, because you know why? They were gumbe beaters. And they come
Mm.
out with fast rhythm. And everybody just changed. But it seems like everybody beating the same thing. And I just don't understand why there are so much different beats. Why everybody got to be beating the same thing. And then everybody call themselves top drummer. They are different, all types of different
Big
rhythms.
dog.
If you notice me, every year I could come down Bay Street with something different. This year I plan on bringing something different from what I was carrying.
Uh-huh.
There. See, Junkanoo is about 90% percussion.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is that why we continue to beat the same beat over and over. It make the beats stale. The same way you don't want to hear the same song every year. Why we need to hear the same beat every year?
Do you think that they are afraid
Yes, they're
to?
afraid to
Yeah.
take it for changes. When it comes to the music, they're afraid.
Mm.
They don't want to try something new when it comes down to the beating part, the drumming part. Like they're all afraid. You have to try new beats.
Wow.
We've been these beats now for the last 20, 30 years.
Wow. So
When you talk
guess, go ahead.
about rhythm, you have to they're all different type beats. They're all different type rhythm. And the reason why I feel like a lot of our drummers are not up to par is because they just beat one beat over and over. If you remember back in the day, you had to beat up, you had to be a drummer who could beat up the hill. That's rhythm.
Oh
You,
yes.
you remember the sawtures here?
Oh yes.
Yeah, all it is was
Beat
to
porridge hot.
keep your
Boom.
right.
Beat
All it is was to
porridge
keep your
cold. Boom.
fingers, them. The guys them back in the day had so much rhythm because they had so much work when it come down to with their fingers. But not
Mm.
everybody just slapping. It ain't no more rhythm. You
Yeah.
know. We need more rhythm drummers to change the beat. Junkanoo wouldn't go nowhere with our beat if we just can guess one beat over and over. That's like it gets me so hot with scraping. Every time it hurts me that scrapers feel like when they scrape, the only thing they can scrape is giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. And it disturbs me because if you come on the side of me and you hear me, all like a tweeter,
Yeah.
everybody just giddy up, but they have bad hand work, and so that's all they can play. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. You
How,
can't get
how,
you can't get no strength from the way they use their hands. Their hand weight is small. That's why if they had to use the scrubbing board, they will never be able to play.
how
Because
much of that do you think is, I want to be kind here because this is not a criticism. How much of that you believe is the fact that nobody teaches
that's
and
that's
that scraping is a easy, what we would call in Junkanoo, that's
everybody
a
pick it
quick
up because
get out,
it's
right?
easy.
You
Right.
don't you don't have to beat drum, you ain't gotta
Yeah.
shake cowbell or
Yeah.
blow horn. You grab a scraper and you up right up in the front of the back line and
And
you
all
just
you do is
what
brush,
do you call it?
brush,
Giddy up all
giddy up,
morning.
giddy up all day. They have no other rhythm. It is a rhythm instrument. It's an instrument that you beat as well.
Yeah.
Instrument that you beat. If you notice me playing, when I play, I beat my instrument at all times. I don't even have to take a good scraper. Never take his brush off the scraper. Never supposed to
Is
be off.
that right?
Never. You will never see my hand off my scraper. Always. I could fiddle just like how you fiddle. I could fiddle and make the same sound what you doing with your hands.
Wow.
You
Wow.
know, and it's
So,
that most people don't want to learn.
wow.
I rush with the Saxon now, and I was the one that started the front line, and I yet to this day to be able to teach somebody in the Saxon, because when everybody come, they just join and they just do their own thing, you know. So I just don't bother.
You started the scraper line?
Yes, it's me. It is me. It's me
Wow.
who started the scraper line. I wasn't the first person with the instrument, but I was the one who took scraper to the next level.
Yes. And
You know,
lined them up across the front.
right. The Saxon was the first group that had the scraping line, and let me tell you how the clunkers get in. After they see me then to my iron, the car hub, and they hear the rhythm, then that's when one family came the next year with the clunkers.
Yeah.
All right. You know, and like I said, there are all type of rhythm you could use to refine Junkanoo music and to make it sound better, make it sound good. I used to knock my iron, they make me go in the back of the group. I had to rush in the back of the Saxon group in order to knock the iron. Only until there's a young man named Louis who used to rush with the sax and play trumpet. He saw me in the front of the volley board scraping, and he hear it, and he say, "Papa, say you rushing with the volley?" I said, "Boy, I was a saxon before you, ma born. I can't be no." He say, "Man, Panther man, say we need you to come in front with this way to sound good." So when we went to Freeport, I was in front, and when I say, "Man, Panther, you know you're like the feel for this for the dancer song." He said, "Man, Willie, you gotta listen to this. You have to listen to this." Wise was in Freeport in 2006.
Yeah.
And once they hear that, everybody that's gone off. And it's a young man who was waking, I think, to one of the radio stations called Fat Back.
Yes.
He came out and he recorded, and he said the next morning he come on the show, he said, "Man, we get a new sound in Junkanoo." And that's when everybody started coming to me, because I could remember Eddie Ford came to me the following year. He wanted to get some scrapers for their group. But of course, there's the rivalry group. I wasn't for that. I love Eddie Ford, but I couldn't.
But war is war.
And war now, I can instrument, so that's how that going. And I'm more than happy to see that it excel over the years.
Yeah.
But like then I am just tired of just watching giddy up. These guys, there's so much things that instrument can do,
You want to
all
expand
here's
that.
giddy up. Huh, ma'am?
You want to expand that part of the music.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to work on even so, like our music, when it comes down to the drumming side of it. We need to develop. Every group needs to develop their own style and their own beat.
Yes, their own rhythms.
Their own rhythm. You need to develop that.
So let me ask you this now. Going back to the brass. Let me circle back to the brass. You made the point that when the brass was introduced as a full line, that it changed the way we dance.
Yes, they changed. It changed the way we dance and the way we rush. One time ago, there was a guy named Master Spy. I've never seen nobody rush a costume like him.
Hey.
Master Spy. I mean, when you see they hold that costume, that costume moving. But now everybody just forming.
Stepping. Yeah.
They just the only toting way. There ain't no movement.
You know what?
Forming.
Yo.
Everybody heel and toe, heel and toe, and that's it. And healing.
Yeah.
But we got to get back. We have to make I think one time ago we used to call it performance. We got to get back. We got to give prize for performance, man.
Yeah.
We got to make that number one priority, because I feel like we losing it where people just walking down Main Street and they're sailing. Ain't nobody moving, no movement.
So if you had your way, you would change the balance of the scoring. Right now, it's costume 50%. It's music 25, right? Yeah. It's performance 20, and 5% goes to execution of theme. So you would shift that balance and up
Performance. I
the
would
performance.
performance, man. Because, like I said, you can have a pretty costume and you can look pretty, but you ain't moving. People come out there to see you dance and carrying on.
Yeah.
So you realize one time ago we used to have a lot of characters in Junkanoo.
Yeah.
And that's something we lose over the years.
Wow.
Even the scrap gang, I look at it and I say, oh Lord, we lose so much in Junkanoo.
Yeah.
It ain't no more fun now, even the scrap gang. The scrap gang now, they want car music to play. They lazy, they ain't want wake no more.
They want party.
Yeah, they just want party and drink. But
You hear
the
about party
characters
in
in
the
Junkanoo we
backyard,
lost.
cooler in the banner.
Yeah, they have bars and whatnot. But we gotta this our thing, and we gotta love our thing and take care of it, man. I feel like the young people, we need to show them where we come from. I always wanted the Junkanoo to community to go back into having an old time Junkanoo parade,
Yeah.
like
A heritage parade.
yeah, that's old time Junkanoo, because I was telling them when during the pandemic, if we used to have Junkanoo, man, we should just go and punch and shade and toss a lot, and to show the young people where we come from.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
And
how
we could still do that as a
we still could do.
separate event.
Yeah,
We
it
could
don't have to
still
be
do that as
elaborate.
a
You got
separate event.
all of this money.
Yes.
Because like you say, back in the day, you had a fella. He come out there with a straw hat on, and crunk sock, and he get the banana leaf, and his face powder up. He was a character. And they would, when you come out there to laugh,
Yes.
have fun.
The
And that's
only
what
thing
we
we
lost.
need to let him bring is that donkey. You remember the man who used to come out?
What?
This oldest big people.
I remember it used to be so much fun. People used to bring crackers to Junkanoo, but they had to stop it because they used to take the crackers and throw it into the group.
Yes.
Oh, gee.
Yes, I remember that you had to be. As a little girl, they always threw crackers at your feet, and you had to be very careful. I remember that clearly.
Well, folks, we gotta run. We gotta run to our last break. We ain't letting Panther go too quick. We're gonna run to our last break. When we get back, we'll get our final thoughts from him, and we'll take you guys into where we're going next week. We'll be right back. You're listening to Junkanoo 242.
As a result of the recent uptick in violence, domestic violence, school campus violence, and murders in our country, New Providence in particular, ZNS Radio will lead in providing relevant programs and content in collaboration with religious, civic, and governmental groups and organizations that will offer opportunities to view, impact, and possibly reduce the current spate of violence that we are now experiencing.
Our focus will be on finding viable solutions as we are committed to helping our nation
to become a part of the solution.
All that is required for evil to triumph is for good men to see it and do nothing.
There's far too many of you die.
Well, what you scared of?
Grammy, if I tip off the police and somebody find out,
Ain't nobody gonna find out. Crime Stoppers ain't the police. They just does works with the police.
Same difference.
No, boy. With Crime Stoppers, you're safe. When you call their number, it miss the Bahamas altogether and go directly to Miami or Toronto, Canada. Ain't nobody gonna know your voice or that you name Bertram or that you live down the alley.
Grammy, you realize you IDing me right now?
Boy, I raise no criminal. If you see what gone down, call Crime Stoppers. They get no personal info. They just give you a PIN number.
So how you know so much about them?
How you think your uncle get up Fox Hill?
You serious?
If he won't be canned, I able to turn him in.
So uncle know you was a snitch?
Crime Stoppers ain't never could tell nobody. And for top info, they just give you cash.
You get paid and all?
You eating good, right? The light's still on, eh?
Grammy.
Wait your man up. Stop the crime before it's your time. Huh?
Call 328-TIPS or from the Family Islands 242-300 TIPS.
This public service announcement was brought to you by Crime Stoppers in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
It's back to the E Shack. Take it away, guys.
And now for the news off the shack wall. Happy birthday greetings to Natasha Lightbon Dillett and Arita Stubbs, who will be celebrating their birthdays. And to everyone else who will be celebrating their birthdays in the upcoming week, we wish you a happy and a blessed new year. Condolences to everyone who are grieving the loss of their family members. Our thoughts and our prayers are with you. We want to send a special condolence out to Mr. Fred Callender. We got news that he lost his mom this morning.
Oh my.
Fred, you are definitely in our prayers, and the
Oh,
Junkanoo community will be praying for you and your
yes.
family.
Yes.
And the countdown, folks. Yesterday was just a little snippet of what could be happening. Okay? It was a little snippet. It is Saturday, June 4th, 2022. We are 29 hopeful weeks away from Bay.
And my goodness, starting next week, we will also begin to count down to independence. Because in my mind, once we get past Labor Day, Bella, we are in the season of independence. Our independence is too important to be just one day.
One day.
And
I
so
agree.
let us start to prepare for July the 10th. Let us start to plan to get our flags, our shirts, and all of these things to decorate ourselves, our cars, our homes, our neighborhoods, and let's show everybody how proud we are to be Bahamian. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are in the closing segments of Junkanoo 242. We have been having a very enlightening conversation with Mr. Philip Barton. It's amazing how you walk past people and they're very quiet, or they may be in the line in Junkanoo and you don't know how much information they have in their heads. We got plenty libraries walking around here, and we have to be sure that we get all of this information. Panther is a wealth of knowledge, and we are so grateful that he decided to share some of that with us this morning. This looked like at some point there will be a part two, but right now we have just dipped, we've just gone into the water, we ain't get to the deep yet. And so Panther, let me ask you this. I want to circle back to the music. There's a conversation ongoing on Facebook, okay? Because you may have seen it, that the American television show, The View, is coming to the Bahamas to celebrate its anniversary. I can't remember which one it is. To celebrate its anniversary, Whoopi Goldberg and the whole team. And when they announced this at the show, we're going to the Bahamas, and out comes the man with the steel pan hung around his neck and playing steel pan music, and it's caused quite a lot of discussion.
I was upset.
Look,
I
sorry?
was upset when I saw it. I was
Yes,
upset when
I was
saw it.
very upset myself. But you know, 2 points that people made. A lady made a point that if we have not sold our music and promoted our music abroad, how are they to know? And truly, I had to take a step back, because that is true. We seem to be more interested in copying reggae and copying calypso and carnival music than we are in developing our own. How do you feel about that? Because I felt it should have been Junkanoo music, if only one drummer.
I felt the same way too. Because I am a person, I so deep into Bahamian music.
Yeah.
I don't think there's nobody in this country that more than me. None. Me and Adam Abo and all of them, we used to race to buy in Bahamian music.
Wow.
And one of the things is that we so quick to take other people's things and love it, but we don't love our own.
Oh my.
We don't love our own. And that's one of the things we need to really start to instill into our young people and let them know what music is all about, especially our culture.
Yes.
And like I said, the only way we could get this back, we got to get back to the original Gumbe. Seriously. Because it would even showcase our dance, and it also showcase our musicians.
Yes.
And I feel like we fall down over the years. We don't have nobody to really speak up for musicians in this country. I
Yeah.
remember as a boy growing up in the 70s. 70s was my best era. And we have all kind of nightclubs. You could walk from one club to the
To
next
the
and
next.
enjoy
Over
yourself,
the hill.
over the hill and enjoy yourself. But for some
Mm.
reason, every time now when you hear music now, you hear carnival music. And
Mm.
I couldn't tell you no latest thing the artist today. I couldn't tell you.
We
You could
need
hear
a
the
we need a
about
whole
what
plan to
yeah, yeah.
rejuvenate Bahamian music. We need a
Uh,
strategy.
even like we being fooled to making believe like rake and scrapers our music, Gumbe is our music.
Yeah.
If you check back in the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, rake and scrape is known as island music when you go to the island to have fun and whatnot. But we just don't we get lazy when it come down to our music.
Yeah.
Gumbe is our music,
Yeah.
and we losing it.
Yeah.
You know, somebody get one sore and they just start singing and scraping one sore and that. Where we going with that?
Yeah.
There's
Well, the
no,
rake and scrape belongs to us too, but there's
yeah,
room for
yeah, it is.
all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But just like I always tell people, Junkanoo, that's so weird. All right, other rest of the islands, they're just rake and scrape island music. We just get into
Mm.
them. If you follow what I'm saying,
Hmm.
they're Bahamian, but we was into rake and scrape in the 70s. You name
Yeah.
any Roddy Butler song that he had rake and scrape in the 70s or
Yeah.
the 80s. All right,
Yes.
so but I'm saying we just catching up to Family Island, and Family Island now just catching up to Junkanoo. But Junkanoo was
Mm.
always a Caribbean thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, I hear you. And
yeah.
so, my goodness, that we have had such a wonderful show. I feel like we just getting started. I got some questions here I didn't get to ask, and so we will have you back at some point. But you
Yes,
have really been
yeah.
wonderful.
Anytime,
Is
anytime.
Thank
Anytime.
you. Would you like what closing words? What would you like to leave the nation with? Your closing thoughts.
Well, as far as in the Junkanoo world, I would like to see that we all could go to Bay Street and come together as one and get away from this cheat and becoming enemies and all of that. I just feel like once the parade over, man, we need to just show love to one another, man. But
Yes.
we focus so much on their spinning that we
Yes.
losing the concept of what we there for. It would make me feel proud. Like I tell people, the reason why I rush because as a young boy, I remember when Christmas come, you dying to get something to give back to the children. What the older folks give to me.
Nice.
Young kids look forward to this. And that's why, like I said, I would never take a dime from Junkanoo. Not if I could
No.
help it.
No, me
I
either.
just love it.
Wow.
Absolutely. Well, those are powerful words to end on. DF, final words.
Mr. Barton, Panther, thanks for coming. Thanks for taking this invitation.
Mhm.
Trust me, Arlene is gonna make sure that this is not your last show.
No.
We have a lot to dive into, but also too, even in your travels, even in what you're doing, even if you take a video of you doing various different things with different instruments, send it to our Facebook page, send it to us. We'll get it out there to start
Mhm.
exposing,
Yes.
people to this information and start,
But
curating it.
Yes.
Setting that show, a show with me every year, based on the
Okay.
things I'm doing. Every year they show that.
Wonderful. We'll make sure we be on the lookout for it. And
All
so,
right.
ladies and gentlemen, on that wonderful note, we thank you so much for being in the E-Shack with us this morning. We are deeply grateful that we are all able to share with each other through the magic of modern technology. Thanks to Mr. Panther, Mr. Philip Barton. He has been another juncanologist, outstanding the amount of information that he has. And thank you all for participating. And so until next week, remember now, this is Junkanoo 242. It's actually all about you wherever you are in the 242. And until next week, stay safe. Number one, practice all safety protocols and also make sure that you let everything that you do between now and then prove beyond the shadow of a doubt that we are all
All
proud
proud
to be
to be
Bahamian.
Bahamian.
We'll see you next week.
All right.